Celtic Ligers, Celtic Ligers, Celtic Ligers, Celtic Ligers, Celtic.
I'm recording now.
I'm recording also.
Okay, good.
Should we start again?
No, I'll sync it up. Hello
Okay.
and welcome
Welcome
to Spelt Bread Ligers, the podcast where we don't
where we review bread.
we review bread. What's your favorite type of bread?
Gluten-free.
Why do I even ask?
I've been eating burger buns instead of bread, you know?
Oh God, we need to move on from this. This is.
No.
I don't want to know this about you.
Instead of a cheese sandwich, I have two gluten-free burger, like a burger bun.
Yeah, like a bap.
No.
Okay.
Well, bap is sort of like floury and nice, whereas these are just sort of immediately stale. Actually, all that nice, you know.
And that's why I love them.
That's why they suit me.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have that? Because I kind of have that where it's like, I like things that actually I don't really like all that much.
I got really into like these gluten-free oatcakes for a while.
Yeah.
And they're incredibly smart. Like,
Yeah.
very tasteless, very dry,
Yeah.
no texture. But I love them.
This is-
there was one day they were all I ate.
Yeah. Like, this is the relationship I have with mince pies. It's like, I actually don't like these, but I buy them every year and I love them and I'll eat all
I
of them.
love mince pies.
Yeah, but it's
Mince
like,
pies,
they're vile. Like, you're eating them
No,
and it's like, they
they're
taste like...
pleasurable to me.
Oh, I love them, but I don't know why. It's like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm having this even though it's unpleasant and I don't like it.
That's
you know?
sort of how I am with Christmas pudding.
Yeah.
Mince pies every year, I'm just like, I hope this year, you know the way people are like, wouldn't it be amazing if cream eggs, the Easter egg was full of cream egg?
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope this is full of mince meat, you know? Finally. Wouldn't it be amazing if this year they put out
Just made it with raw mince meat. That would be great.
Yeah.
You know, like a mince
I
pie.
wish
You know the way they have like raw mince in them?
Yeah, that's it. So every Christmas in school, I was like, imagine if my uncle in America says that in America the mince pies have raw mince in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one.
And they were delicious. And actually, I have them now, but you can't look at them.
You can't see them
Yeah.
because they're invisible.
I think you took it too far there. You know, it's like those jokes when you, as a kid, when
No, that was just the right amount. Come on.
Do you ever be like when you were a kid and people would be adding to the story and they'd be like, and then this happened, and then this happened,
Yeah,
and then
I
there'd
was
be a
always
kid
like,
who just like,
keep it going.
and then the kid would say something like, you took it too far, you ruined it now, you actually
No,
fucked
I was always
this.
like, more. Keep it going.
Yeah, and everybody
you know?
was like,
Please.
please.
I'm like, and they can fly and they can breathe fire.
And then a goat came out, and then he had a pair of glasses on. He was like, hey, stop running in the hallway. And it's like, you know, no, you're taking it too far. We were doing it in the real world, and it's not funny if you do these completely crazy things that can't happen, you know?
Yeah,
that would be
but
me.
It is funny.
That would be me.
Yeah, I feel like you would say that.
Yeah, no, I don't like it when it got crazy. That's why I always loved stand-up. And then...
Guys, calm down, please. Stop.
Yeah.
It's too crazy. You tell the teacher, you're like...
Yeah, I'm up there. Hey, they're over there, and they're doing a riff that's just gone on way too long, and my teacher's like, where? And then she takes out her paddle. She's ready to...
Yeah, she takes out her goat to breathe fire there.
Yeah. It's like, and then the goat's like, you know, it's... I lost it. Sorry, I lost it.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. We should probably...
Yeah.
Leave it there.
We should probably leave it there because we do have to nip off basically 15 minutes early, you know?
No.
Okay.
Well...
Kind of. But like,
kind of.
let's get with the news. Let's talk about stuff. Let's say what's happening.
Okay. I'll go first.
I shouldn't have given you the option, but there you go.
You didn't. I took it.
I
saw a thing on TikTok, and it was like, there's this weird meme they do, and they're like, tell me about the time that you did this. I'll go first. You
Okay,
know?
yeah.
And then they tell the story, and then there's one. Okay, it's like, tell me about the time you did this. I'll go first. And then it cuts to another person. She's like, no, I'll go first. It's just, I had to be there. Yeah,
I don't get TikTok, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you don't. TikTok is for the youth, like me.
Yeah, I'm on. I felt threatened, and like I needed to be moving on with my life, so I've joined some dating apps now, and it's been a very depressing experience.
Gab.
Oh, well, actually, this is interesting.
Parlor.
This this is interesting though. Like I actually think Hinge is probably one of the best ones. I actually quite like that one.
Hinge is just for Harry Potter fans.
No, it's
That's
not.
what my experience.
Really?
Yeah, that's my experience of it.
There is a lot of Harry Potter love on, but all these dating apps. But also
here's my rough division.
Yeah.
It's like Tinder's for normal people.
No, it's not.
Bumble is for beta males. And
oh wait, are you not counting us as normal people? Is that why you? Do you know what I mean? There's like
Bumble is for
Tinder
beta
has
males.
like so many like really basic people on it, you know.
Well, they all do, but this is my rough categorization.
Okay.
Bumble is for beta males, and then women who go to horse shows. There are just so many pictures of like a woman in a hat at like Ladies' Day, and then Hinge is just for like women who are like, I'm a Gryffindor. You know? I'm a Gryffindor and I love wine.
That's all of. Come on, that's all of the apps. Like, let's be honest.
I just find Hinge exclusively that.
No.
Or Star Wars.
No.
I think on Star Wars, I only see that on the Hinge where someone's like, I'm use the Force or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But, I'll use the Force to kiss you.
To kiss you on your mouth. I'm totally a normal person, you know.
That's it. I like the Force. I'm the Jewish wrote the flying monster from the prequel. What was his name? Wagga?
What the fuck was his name? Like, for some reason I'm thinking Odo, but that's not correct.
I think it was Wagga.
No,
like,
they won't. That's the only thing I know about it.
And that's like an Israeli accent. Like, he's pure Jewish.
Never Wado, and you never see him again.
I was hoping for that. I wanted, like, you know, in the third of the prequels where Yoda is fighting whoever, Darth Vader.
Watto. Yeah, you were hoping he'd come back and...
Yeah, like Yoda would be pinned to the ground, it'd be like an Avengers, and then it'd be like, the guy would be like, you're dead, and then Wagga would be like, no, I'm here, and then he'd send like a slave woman out to defend you. He just watches from the distance. He's like, I'm purchasing the man who's attacking you. But back to my news.
But like I was on Hinge. They were like, "What are you politically?" And they have 4 options: apolitical, other, conservative, or liberal. I could not bring myself to do liberal, but whenever you click like other, it feels like you're just basically saying, I'm a fascist. You know?
Yeah, I'm a Nazi. That's it. But you are a liberal.
Ugh, no, I'm not. Do not call me that. How dare you?
Traditionally, you're a liberal.
No, I'm not. I even Googled liberal to make sure, because I was like, maybe it's some word like fake news that's been co-opted by some sort of media. But
what does it mean? Like the free exchange of ideas? You like that?
Yeah, but there's other stuff involved in liberalism that I don't like, which is...
Like what?
Let me look up what the things that put me off.
Mixed marriage.
They generally support free markets, free trade, limited government, capitalism, and then all the other stuff is good, but those are all kind of breakers for me. I do not support capitalism. I do not support... I don't necessarily support free markets or free trade or limited government. In fact, I wouldn't, you know.
I mean, really, when they say political, your politics, they mean you're like social politics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's...
So you're also a fascist in that.
But you know, you have like... You know, I was thinking about... My mum was talking about it, like, about on Twitter, the way you have, like... You know, like a lovely, pleasant story about a kitten, and then all of a sudden you have like some Palestinian child having a gun held to their head by some IDF soldier, and then you know,
my Twitter isn't like that.
Oh well, it's just I'm saying it's the juxtaposition of all this stuff where news and tragedy and all this kind of light-hearted entertainment all kind of get merged together to the point where it's like you can't actually just go, what are your politics? Are you a liberal? And then it's like, I'm not fucking liberal. Like, those words mean things, you know? Like, it's so annoying that it's like, yeah, but basically you're a liberal because you believe in this type of stuff. It's like, that's not a liberal necessarily. Why? Like,
I know, but like when it comes to a dating app, it's really just like, are you like everyone knows? I don't know. Like if you see someone's a liberal or conservative on a dating app, you sort of gives you as much of a gist as anything else. Because like, think about what other information it has. It's like,
Yeah.
they're like, I like hiking. It's like, you don't think they're, one of those like Sherpas.
Yeah.
You just think it's just a rough.
I guess
indication.
I just find it like, I mean, they should just leave it blank and you can write in whatever. Like I don't see why you had to,
You'd put in like Nazball or something.
But like it is funny how it used to be that social media would like, advertise itself as being incredibly customizable, and now it's the exact opposite. They need you to be like, when we're uploading stuff to Instagram, it's a different dimension for Instagram than it is to Instagram TV, and it's like, how do you upload a video that's longer than this? Or you can't, there are just workarounds.
That's to like make data categorization easier, you see.
Interesting.
It's like they just if you just put up anything, it's very hard for like a computer to like categorize and analyze.
Yeah.
Whereas if like all videos are the same size, or like all people fit into one of 4 categories, like that's very easy to like sell marketing off the back of, because you can be like, this Nazball only watches Crash Bandicoot videos, so we'll just sell them whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know that Viagra is like over the counter in Ireland now?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I actually have to go somewhere. We need to call this podcast. No.
That's why I'm leaving early.
Unfortunately.
I want to feed it to the swan.
Unfortunately, yeah. Like, unfortunately, that's not a problem I have. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Need something to stop these goddamn things,
Yeah, I have no take. Do you remember where's Viagra was made somewhere down in Cork, and all the men were like, the fumes give us erections.
Is that true?
Yeah. They said that, but I don't know if it actually was true.
Yeah. Oh no, the fumes have made me like, rub my dick up against this woman on the bus. It's crazy what these fumes do to you.
Yeah.
Cork saying, I work in the Viagra factory. Can you come on, please, give me a break.
Yeah, that's it. Sexual climate change. So back to my news.
Speaking of climate change, what's your news? What's your news? Sorry.
Well, it's not news, but I was reading about the German Green Party.
Okay.
And let me get the news up. Because there's this analysis of like, this is so vague, but there's a place called, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Baden-Württemberg.
Oh, right. Sorry.
What were you going to say? Baton Rouge?
Nope, I wasn't going to say that. Keep going. Sorry.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Baden, but of course you'd be able to pronounce that.
Yeah. Where's Baden?
Yeah. I don't know. My dad's always going on about it. There's bats in there, and he's obsessed with Germany. I don't think there's ever like, we'd be driving. We have a camper van, so we would travel like to many places in Europe. But the serenity that falls over my dad once you just cross the border into Germany, is so like funny. He's just standing there like, just like looking at, taking it all in. Just he loves it. It's like the roads are smooth. Everything seems to be like more efficient. He just feels like he's in his element.
The police pull you over and they're just like have one of those like little packs of cheese, and they're just eating the cheese directly out of it.
Yeah. That's just like Germany. That sounds like you've been there before. Like a lot.
Well, that's my experience of Belgium.
Yeah.
He
hates Belgium.
They have like a loaf of bread and then a packet of cheese, and they're just like, be making cheese buddies, and that's it.
No, it's the exact opposite with Belgium. I thought you were talking about Germany.
I'm talking about cheese eating habits of the Europeans.
Well, when my dad enters Belgium, he actually becomes the exact opposite. He gets incredibly angry and irritable. He hates Belgium.
Yeah.
Go on, Germany. Let's talk about this. The clock is a ticking, and we got shit to talk about.
Yeah. So this area, it's like a sort of a major industrial area in Germany. It's incredibly wealthy, and like they all vote for the Green Party.
Yeah.
Sort of like a sign of things to come for Ender Ryan. What's his name? Eamon Ryan. Ender Ryan's my doctor.
Nice.
You know?
Doxing your doctor.
Yeah.
Not really.
Both. Yeah.
Cool.
But
your doctor is an asshole, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it.
No, from what I heard, this is what the opinion I came to. So, James has said nothing. Please continue to give good medical care to my boy.
But or please start. But this scenario, it's just like a sign of things to come for Eamon.
Do you think?
Wink, Ryan. There's like this party got in,
40
and the
winks,
guy's
Ryan.
like, "What?"
Aiming 40 winks, Ryan. You know.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of funny."
Yeah.
But
50 winks. Fuck.
no, it's 40 winks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
Isn't
great.
it?
No, you're right. It is 40 winks. Yeah.
You're right. You said okay, but
Rip Van Winkle, Ryan. Sorry, just
no,
keep going.
don't do it. Come
Just-
on. You were just giving out about people who.
Taking the riff too far. I know. I'm sorry. I did it.
But so the Green Party have sort of been like very popular there for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they've done nothing. And the guy's just like, I'm a centrist. I like to, like talk to the left and the right and do deals with, and like so over the 10 years, like start he went in as a Green, and now he's like lobbying for, what do you call them? What do you call it when government gives money to a company? Substitution. You know what I'm talking about. Money.
When government gives money to what?
Like an industry or something.
Subsidies?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like giving subsidies to like diesel car manufacturers.
Yeah.
And like he's the Green Party.
Yeah.
So like he gets in and then he's like, now to be pragmatic.
I know, yeah.
And then he does nothing after 10 years. Like I'm trying to think what he actually got done. Like it's very basic.
It's truly amazing how pragmatism always veers right, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like with the centrism, it's like we need to be sensible, and then what it ends up doing is like doing right-wing policies except slightly nicer, you know?
Well, that's it, because they're like, it's like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to negotiate. And then the like guy who owns, Mercedes is like, I am not going to negotiate.
Well, I tried. Let's just do what he says, you know?
Let's make a deal, And then it's just like, it just further entrenches the status quo.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. And like, that's what Eamon Ryan is going to do. Like, it's what he tries so hard to do. Like, 4 years ago, he was like, protesting against CETA, and now he's like, CETA needs to pass.
Yeah.
That's just a pragmatic thing to do. And then I think it just shows that like green politics fails if it's not in any way like radical,
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just the guy who's like, yeah, I'm going to be the green guy, I'm going to try my best and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to bring in climate change faster, because like this area are like, oh, we vote green, so don't worry about us. It's like a brand that these companies can now use to be like, oh, we're taking climate change seriously. Look, we're talking to the green guy, and then nothing happens.
I mean, that's if like they... Yeah, I mean, if Eamon Ryan wanted to achieve any green policy to begin with.
Well, like this guy, he doesn't. Like, if someone here is like, the Green Party supports CETA.
Yeah.
Which is, they'll be thinking, oh, that mustn't be that bad for the environment. It's like...
Yes, yeah.
Greenwashing
yeah.
CETA.
Yeah, exactly. Although it's impossible, so luckily... while we're talking about CETA, I guess, is Green Party TD lodges a High Court challenge over controversial CETA trade deal. So Patrick Costello has put a High Court challenge to basically say, hey, if we're creating a separate court system, isn't that unconstitutional? Doesn't that mean that we need a referendum to change the Constitution? And so, to put it in the public eye, and it's like, as I've said before, it almost you'd almost forgive him for voting to seal the mother and baby homes records, voting against raising pay for nurses, all the awful things that he 100% did as a Green Party TD. It's like now he's doing this thing, which again is, if I'm going to be frank, I don't know anything about this shit, but it is to me the most fucking cooked way to do anything ever, which is like
appeal to the court.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine going, oh no, actually, we need to bring this to the real center of power, the fucking court system. Like I understand the idea of like finally having made potentially the courts do something. You know, when they go, oh, we can't do it because the Attorney General says we can't, and such and such. And now it's like we're kind of doing that. You know, the left ostensibly is doing that by saying. Although I hesitate to put him on the fucking left if he's.
But he's not on the left.
No, he's not. But like, you know, he's like. This is something that the left doesn't want to go through, CETA. So this high court action, let's say, is like a welcome thing to try and keep that conversation going and challenge it in a way that's, you know, is actually helpful, you know, as opposed to organizing. I'm not, you know, it's important to organize and have Zoom marches and things like this and to work with people. Maybe. But do you know, you have this thing where it's like, it is an actual bit of action that the government has to respond to. But ultimately, and you know, like I said, Attorney General, it's good to.
It's probably the most radical action by any member of the Green Party ever.
100%. Not member. Let's say TD, because there's been other people who've been, you know, very good. Do you know?
Like who?
I don't know. Like Saoirse McHugh, Sinead Mercier.
Yeah. They quit.
They're not members of the Green Party now, but you said, you know, any member of the Green Party ever. And I was
currently.
Like, currently.
Is what I said.
Did you say currently?
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, you know, that's 100% true. Like, I didn't think there was anybody left in there who would make something like this, do you know?
No. I wonder if it'll work.
I think, you know, maybe I'm naive, but the fact that it has to be talked about and discussed and be kept in the public imagination, like, they don't like it. Leo and Micheál Martin are not happy that this has happened at all. And I think it's because, like how it happened before Christmas, where they tried to vote it through really quickly, did not succeed, pushed it into next year because they needed more time to talk, did not talk about it, and then planned to vote it through anyway. It's like, the longer it stays as an item in the news, and now that it's been brought into the terms of, is this constitutional? I think that's, you know...
Yeah, like if it went to a referendum, it probably wouldn't pass.
No fucking way.
It's so easy to just be like, do we want to give up more power or whatever?
No way, it wouldn't.
How does the court work? Is it a European court or is it a national
like
court?
Completely independent of, like, you know, the European Union. It's not like a court set up by us. It's set up by, like, independent bodies. Do you know?
Oh yeah.
Here, I could be wrong about that. You can message in. But ultimately, like, I do know that it's like, you know, it's meant to be like a mediator between us, the EU, and, you know, corporate entities. You know?
Yeah, it's like a way a corporation can sue a country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like it was set up as an environmental protection, which is incredibly weak. You know, like it was supposed to be a way that countries can like, you know, what's the word?
Sue private companies if they're doing something environmentally unsound, or what?
No, it was like a way that companies could. Or countries could protect their environmental interests, but like, I think anywhere where something similar has been set up, it's just like another way for the country to get sued. And
well, it's always this thing where it's like they pretend that they're stupid, as in making these good faith gestures to bad faith actors, where it's like, yeah, guess if we all wanted the same thing and we were all trying to find an equitable solution, then the idea of having some sort of court system where you could like hammer the stuff out, except we already know that there are literally people hired because their motivation is entirely profit based. They're going to literally burn the earth out from underneath us to make a little bit more money. So when they see a court system like this, it's like, oh well, this will be a nice way to settle disputes. It's like, oh, immediately there's a team of people hired. How can we exploit this and tie shit up so that nothing ever happens to prevent us from making a little bit more money? But it's like, we have to pretend that we don't know this. That's almost what centrism is. It's like, listen, imagine that you're a business. You would want to, you know, do right by other people naturally. So why do you think that the business wouldn't want to do right by other people? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's more the people are like, well, if it's illegal, they can't do it, and that's what the court has to decide. You know, like they presume that if something's legal, it's not all that damage. You know, like I don't think anyone's under the illusion that court, like people agree after a court decision. It's just that there was a ruling that they both have to abide by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I guess I'm just saying the setting up of a court like this, the theory is kind of like based on everybody acting in good faith to make that process work for everybody. But I'm just saying that already people will try to manipulate it. So it's like...
Did you listen to that like episode of Chapo that they put out? And it's that guy, and he was representing indigenous people in, was it Honduras or something?
Yeah. Oh,
was it
Salvador?
Was it?
Can't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Or was it Ecuador?
Ecuador. I think you're right. I think it's Ecuador.
And he was suing Chevron on behalf of the indigenous people of an area because Chevron had like purposely polluted an area and like it caused those people to get sick and have birth deformities and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Chevron countersued him they sued him in New York. They got him put under house arrest and then just pulled out of Ecuador without paying any of the damages.
Yeah.
He'd been under house arrest for 500 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the company had paid off 2 judges to keep him under house arrest. So like Chevron are acting without impunity.
Yeah.
And or with impunity, and then he's under house arrest. So it's like these companies are larger than a lot of courts, and they have more influence than a lot of courts. Now maybe it'd be different if like, you know, the EU is a fairly substantial economic bloc, so like it probably couldn't run rings. Like if you think about it, look at AstraZeneca, and like they tried to fuck over the EU, and they in a lot of ways succeeded, but the EU isn't quite taking it lying down, you know?
It depends how much, you know, faith you have in the EU, or if you think that what their interests are and how they align, and it seems to be that they are very much on the sides of these corporations. They're willing to give these concessions.
Like I'm just saying that like the company is more likely to obey the court decision because of the EU's power. Now what the court will decide is, you know, it's not necessarily going to be the best thing for the environment, but like you're probably not going to have a situation like that guy, because say it was in Ireland, you're probably not going to get a situation where the company just ignores an Irish ruling in the same way.
Yeah, but I don't even think that would get brought to it, because it would be for individuals to do basically, and I think they would just get crushed, or you know.
Wait, what do you mean? It'd be
like the Ecuadorian government. Our government is never going to be like holding a company to account for horrible environmental practices.
Well, the court system would not work the other way. It'd be that if Ireland brought in a ruling, if Ireland tried to bring in a law or something that impacted their the company's profits, they would bring Ireland to the court.
But it just creates a kind of freezing mechanism where it'll make people think twice about even doing that because of the potential of a lawsuit.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is you just probably won't get a situation where the court made a ruling and the company just ignored the ruling, because that's the benefit of being an imperial power of the EU. It's like we have a certain amount of sway over companies.
I mean, somehow
Ecuador wouldn't.
Like, I do believe that they would ignore it.
Like, if you look at AstraZeneca, like, they are sort of been brought to heel. You know, they ignored contracts with the EU. And, like, the EU are doing things like banning, certain amounts of their exports to, like, enforce the contract. Like, there's certain things they can do that Ecuador can't do to enforce a contract, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Did you hear about Iran Alexei? What's his name?
The Russian guy.
What?
Russian guy?
Yeah.
No.
The what's it called? The Amnesty International took him off their prisoner of conscience thing because of hate speech.
I don't know anything about that. I think when it's like Russian stuff, I kind of just tune out now.
But the rough idea is that he's giving out about corruption. You're like, you know the way Putin just like rigs elections.
Yeah.
And like changes the law.
And there's evidence to
switching.
suggest he even kills journalists, but that's alleged.
Yeah, well, I think he does. And he also killed like Chech.
Yeah, he's just an awful person, basically.
Yeah, he's a folk nugget.
I'm gonna say it, all right. You know, the Trump's fucking bum buddy.
Yeah, he's a douche nozzle.
Yeah, he can.
I had a friend who used to say douche nozzle unironically.
I wonder if, like, in my teens, whether I would have said that, because I was obsessed with being American, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What other words did you use? Diaper?
I definitely would have called somebody a douche.
Really?
Yeah.
I never used that.
I'm trying to think of other shit I would have said.
Folk waffle?
It was more like pop cultural stuff. Oh, fuck waffle. No, I definitely didn't say that.
That would suck.
But that would have come close to... Like, I would have found that stuff very funny when people would have done those stupid insults, you know? Like,
I think I used to like the more elaborate ones where... Like, I don't think I like this one, but there's one on Reddit they say it's like, I've neither the time nor the crayons to explain this to you. I didn't find that funny, but that's the vibe. You know, like Stephen Fry level insult.
I know what you mean, yeah, the kind of like, I'm pulling out my rapier wit and I'm slashing you across the chest with some sort of, you couldn't possibly know what I'm referring to, you know?
But then you hear someone use them in real life.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's so cumbersome.
That's so fucking lame. And actually, like, I like the secondary school really shook that out of me, because like it really, you can have that type of like, oh yes, I suppose that you're, you know, just go and list off somebody's, and then somebody goes, what? Fuck off. And then it's just like, wow, that hurts so much more than the stupid thing that I tried to say to you, you know? Yeah,
I'm so completely disarmed now.
Yeah.
Because...
They wouldn't even be able to get a sentence like that out, obviously, you know? But like, but if you even attempted it, like, this person would just be like, I'll fucking kill you, shut up. And I'll be like, they wouldn't even say that. They're just like, look at you.
We used to have a term, people said in school. It was quite effective within the context, you know? Because you would try to be like, if you try to insult someone, they go, And then...
What do you mean,
There's a word they used to make fun of people.
I remember there was one that, like, in my school, they would do stuff. They would go, what? And they would just pretend that they hadn't heard you a number of times.
That's a good one.
That was a real... It was because I was very slow to pick up on that being a bit, you know? And I'd be like, oh, it's like this or whatever. And then they'd be like, what? And then I'd be like, I said it's like... And as soon as you have to repeat it, then you're just like, oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
And they're also forcing you to give up.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one who gives up.
Yeah.
You're not even being put down. You're putting yourself down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring that one back.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. It's very good.
Next time a guard pulls me over.
What?
What?
Yeah. Just like cut you. It's just, especially when you say it like that, like when people go, okay.
I'm too embarrassed now to, fine you for...
What about... Yeah, for speeding, which is probably what you were doing.
No, for driving too well, you know? For driving too slickly.
You should be paying me to watch this, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's good? I don't know.
Yeah, and I pay. But they talk about the human rights. So, yeah, Putin is basically, like, corrupt. This guy is in the opposition. He was like criticizing and highlighting how corrupt he was.
Yeah.
And then Putin tried to kill him. And then now he's in prison in Russia.
But because of hate speech. What's the hate speech?
Just before...
No, exactly. I want to know it word for word. No.
Amnesty International have this thing, the prisoner of conscience, which is like, you know... I mean, I think we all know roughly what it means.
Yeah, it's like you're like a political prisoner, and whatever you're doing is, you know, you're in prison, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person, essentially.
Unlike everyone else.
Unlike everybody else is in prison. I'm just saying a popular consensus, like for the general public, that would be true, you know.
Yeah, like 15 years ago, he compared. This is what I read. Now he compared Islamic militants to cockroaches. And, you know, which I don't know if I would disagree with.
And Islamic militants to cockroaches?
That's like ISIS, isn't it?
Call fucking anybody a cockroach.
You wouldn't call ISIS a cockroach?
No, I don't.
ISIS are pretty bad.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know.
Like, I wouldn't call anyone a cockroach because I don't use the word, but I would be like ISIS or a douche nozzle. You know? What
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
would say they're like a bunch of fuck waffles.
Yeah.
Um.
And Jesus, you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I thought the door opened.
No, just like something collapsed.
In his house, by the way, listeners.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I guess. I mean,
and then the other thing is bad. It was like, we shouldn't kill immigrants. We should just deport them.
okay.
And apparently, since he's talked about how he's like regrets using derogatory language and all this sort of stuff. But
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
it's just a weird one that Amnesty International took him. Presumably, they were like, he's a prisoner of conscience because he's talking about corruption in Russia in the democratic process. And then they're like, we're not going to throw our full weight behind him because 15 years ago he made. What the hell is going on? Oh, I know what it is.
what is it?
I was turning down my gain. I think my dad's doing something outside.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
But
that's
yeah,
what it is.
no, I think about it in terms of like Glenn Greenwald, where like people were like he caused basically just reformed made this absolute bombshell story about the corruption in Brazil, that the current Minister for Justice conspired with Bolsonaro to put Lula in prison when it looked like he was going to win the election. And but then he posted that, and then somebody was like talking about Glenn Greenwald's transphobia. I was like, can we like,
they're two separate issues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like he can still be an asshole and write on like this one thing, do you know?
Like if this guy was like, you can still hear me, can you?
Yeah, a little bit.
If this guy was like, we need to get Putin out, and I want to get in so I can kill Muslims.
Yes, exactly.
I'd be like, don't throw your weight behind him. But like, he hasn't disavowed the two videos like specifically from what I've read, but he has talked about how he doesn't use that rhetoric anymore. He doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
And also his cause is completely, unrelated to...
Yeah, what he was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's cancel culture. It's cancel culture run amok.
It's not dissimilar. I mean, there's less evidence with Jeremy Corbyn, but the anti-Semitism thing, where it's just this thing where it's like, I don't want to call it innocuous, but it does feel slightly irrelevant to the task at hand, and all it does is like, I fucking hate to use this, but this purity politics kind of insists that, we have these people who prescribe to 100% of the things that we like. I don't know. I don't really want to go down this road of defending somebody if they were... I don't know enough about it, obviously, but I don't... From what you've said, it sounds like misguided bullshit quotes that might have either been made a long time ago, and even if they were made recently, aren't entirely relevant to the thing that he's rallying against. And it's like, can we like prioritize and,
That's it, because they're also calling him... Because they're still saying he's a political prisoner, which is another like categorization they use. It's just like confusing, and they're not disavowing him completely. They're just saying like we're distancing, they're sort of saying like we're slightly distancing ourselves from him.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know, when you're dealing, it's just very useful to like Russia to like, because they can then be like, oh, this guy you liked, well, he's actually...
He's a little bit sus. He's a little bit problematic.
Exactly.
Found some old tweets of his and, yikes from me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a weird one where they just don't make up their mind.
Yeah.
Like, Amnesty International should be like, we like him or we don't. We're supporting him or we don't. But this thing of like, oh, we sort of like him, but then he said some weird stuff, so we're sort of friends with him. It's almost the worst of both worlds,
Yeah. I guess, would the backing of Amnesty International do all that much for him at this stage? Like, what does it even mean?
I think it is useful to have,
I don't know, it feels like, you know, a UN sanctioned war. It's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have your permission, but also I'm just gonna go to war anyway, you know.
I think with this sort of stuff, when you're appealing to like an international audience, Amnesty International is a useful brand, you know,
Yeah.
like a prisoner of conscience is sort of like a term that everyone understands and is useful to put in print and sort of stuff. And like when you're dealing with this sort of thing, international pressure is useful.
Yeah.
To influence countries, you know, even. I don't know.
I've got a bunch of things that I still wanted to get through here, but I don't know if we have enough time. I guess.
Give it a shot.
Well, let's just talk about the. Dare we? I want to talk about it on the main. So yeah, let's talk about the protests last week, because there was two things that happened as a fallout from them that I thought were interesting. One is that we mentioned Conor Lally. I remember when was that Conor Lally or was that Conor Pope? Now that I think about it, there's two Conors who work for the Irish Times, I think, but it was Conor Lally I was giving out about, who said that the police, you know, when the Police in Ireland podcast happened, that he was like, oh, surely you're not saying that the guards are racist. Surely you're not saying that. And anyways, Conor Lally, as soon as we got off talking about that, he had posted his take on the whole far left thing. Drew Harris calling the protesters members of the far left.
What did he say?
Well, Drew Harris was incorrect, but he did also correct himself. And also, hang on a minute, PBP and all these people claiming like he was targeting us. You don't know what he meant by the far left, so let me explain. And then he goes in a thread explaining what the far left is. And it was very funny. It was just like, why are you doing this? Why are you, like...
that's it. Like, we talked about it last week with, like, Helen McEntee being like, oh, Drew Harris meant Republicans when he said far left.
Yeah.
And then Drew Harris comes out, he's like, there was no evidence of the far left being involved.
Yeah.
So, like, Helen McEntee made up an excuse that Drew Harris didn't even use.
Yeah.
And that's what this fella's doing as well, you know?
Yeah, but also it's like, why does your instinct there? You know you are a journalist, and he's a crime correspondent. He might even be the head of crime. I don't know his fucking thing. But he, like, just to go out and say, you've now found out that Drew Harris has lied, and then you're like, okay, he may have lied, but actually you guys were wrong about the definition of this thing. It's like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ, are you not, like, completely ashamed of what you're saying right now? It's like so embarrassing that you're going to bat for this man, you know?
Yeah, the media's having, as I say, a completely normal one. Like, Primetime had John McGurk on. And,
yes, yeah, that
but
was
there's
the other
another
thing.
thing. I think I tweeted it. I'll get it up, because News Talk were having this guy on about organising an anti-lockdown march in Cork.
Yeah.
And like the framing of it is, we're having this guy on just to discuss why he thinks an anti-lockdown march is useful at this time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, please, here we are. It's Dermot O'Kayla. And the tweet is, on the 6th of March, so today, I'll be supporting this march, this rally for truth, to end the lockdown and the scaremongering, and the right to associate, travel, and work.
Mm-hmm.
And News Talk have him down as on why he's organising an anti-lockdown rally. And also we're talking about Love Island returns, but should it? So they think Love Island is more controversial than an anti-lockdown rally.
I think, like, the other thing about it is, the reason people were pointing that out is the hypocrisy, in that they were saying, how could this possibly have happened? You know, that all of this stuff, how are people so angry, and why are they out in the streets? And it's like, you've literally been saying for the past few months, should we even be wearing masks? Is there any evidence to suggest that this works at all? Let's open up the fucking schools. It's like providing fertile ground for all this stuff, and then it's like they create the problem, point at the problem, and then have on the people to talk about the problem that they created, where it's like, why are you out there? It couldn't have been, it's not anything I said, is it? I hope not, but anyway, keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, there was another thing that happened with, God, what was it? Just today I was noticing it. Just trying to find the headline from the Irish Times. Oh yeah, Miriam Lord, who can be massively hit and miss. So at Leftist Dad, who's I think his name is Well, I know let's say if he doesn't have his last name, maybe he doesn't want people to know it. But his name is Des, and he's on Twitter, and he's taken out a bit of the section from Miriam Lord's article in the Irish Times. Despite its reduced circumstances, quote, just 6 TDs and brackets, just 6 TDs and 5 senators. Why am I reading the brackets? Despite its reduced circumstances, just 6 TDs and 5 senators, the party is performing well on the big issues. Sorry, I'm all over the place. This is Labour. She's talking about Labour, okay?
Right.
The quality of Dáil contributions during major debates has attracted favourable media attention and you think this is going to be something different, generated welcome publicity. Speeches combining criticism of the government with constructive suggestions show a welcome willingness not to sacrifice substance for soundbite. She's talking about Labour, and what she said there in the middle, favourable media attention and generated welcome publicity. Those are the same thing. Do you know, like, he's like, the media is talking about them, and also they've gotten publicity, aka the media, to talk about them. It's like, what we're talking about is like this it kind of links into the lockdown stuff of like the media once again abdicating this idea that anything they say could be influencing public opinion whatsoever. Do you know? It's like, it's just this complete like snake eating its own tail, and nobody's any the wiser as a result of it. Like nobody's interested in getting to the bottom of the problems. The issues just happen organically. We talk about them or we don't, and for balance we have to talk about one side and also the other side, even though John McGurk is just some fucking crank who represents what, maybe like 3 people on this island. You know, well, 500 if like, you know, the march is anything to go by, but like
exactly,
you know, 500
like
of the most animated
he's not
people
a mainstream voice.
And he's like, again, it's impossible to get a barometer of like how many people are actually like, we have this stuff at home. We have the survey that the Irish Times did where they created a separate category for people who wanted measures to end. You know, and they were looking for an easing of restrictions at the earliest possible opportunity, and then people who thought that restrictions should be lifted, you know, and then people who thought more restrictions should be added. So they separated them into 3 categories to give the impression that, like, you know, the people who wanted more restrictions and the people who would ideally like there to be less but are going to wait until it's safe are 2 completely separate camps. So that means that there's actually interest in opening up. It's like just using the data that's there to fabricate a conclusion that doesn't mean anything. So I'm saying is like, there are people out there who are concerned about contracting the virus and dying, who are not going out onto the street to talk about some of the issues that are happening. And the only protest they can point to are Black Lives Matter that happened during the summer, you know? And then the stuff that was happening during the summer, it's like those were at the beginning of lowering of restrictions, you know? Like now we're in the middle of a lockdown and after a massive spike. So it is possible that people don't want to go out into the streets for certain things, you know? But it doesn't mean that there's not outrage, and we have absolutely no reason of no way of knowing it because of the people who are writing these articles and the people who are fabricating the results of the data to get the results that they think that the government wants. So, you know.
Yeah.
But John McGurk, that was really funny when he just went on and like, he basically did a mistake that I do all the time where he confused 2 Irish named parties that are on the absolute margins with each other. Do you know? It's like,
what was the other one? What did he confuse?
It was it was like AIRI or AIRI, and then this other one called like Saora, SAORADH.
Well, IRG are like,
or Saora.
IRG are like they're both dissident Republican groups.
Yeah.
So like groups that don't support the Good Friday Agreement. My mum just rang me twice, and I just want to check if everything's okay.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to pause. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my dad was working on the roof, and then I was worried he'd like fallen off because my mum kept calling me. But they just like locked themselves out of the house. So.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, that was worth it, wasn't it, to find that out?
No, it was annoying.
Oh, okay.
Because we have keys outside. Like for this very instance, we have one of those lock boxes.
Yeah.
So that noise earlier was my dad throwing rocks at my window to try.
I was just thinking, was that what that was? Yeah.
It's so annoying. Like they have the keys in the thing. Just to, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think there's any more really to say about that. We got some other topics for the next episode, so I'm just gonna tidy away that.
We do the names.
Let's just do the names.
And the theme being transport.
Transport. Oh, and yeah, cool. So go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers and become a patron for €5 a month. It really helps us to edit this, to give us the will to fucking keep doing this, basically.
Yeah.
To know that there is an audience and that there is people who might actually pay €1 a week so that they can have an extra podcast and hear us talk.
Yeah, it adds up to $125 a week, isn't it?
Something like that.
$125 per episode.
That's a cup of coffee an hour, okay? So
what?
I'm just joking. It's just trying to make an incorrect claim based on the way people say that stuff.
What was that skit? And it was like, the guy's like, if you can send $1 a cup of he's like in Africa. He's like, if you can send $1 the price for a cup of coffee, you can save these people's lives. And then the guy in the background is like, ask for more money. And the guy's like, $1 is absolutely nothing. You wouldn't even notice the guy. The guy's, well, if that's true, ask for more. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get those names up, and we got some new ones here. I'm very happy to hear it. Joanne Heffernan, thank you very much, Joanne Heffernan.
Yeah.
And that will of course be Skoda.
Yes, that's
Heffernan.
a good one.
Because it's a car.
Okay.
It's like a piece of transport.
Yeah,
Next up,
same engine as a Volkswagen.
Also, you could say Heffernan like a voice. Sorry, like an engine noise.
Do
you
it.
know? Joanne Heffernan.
That's good. Yeah, like a car.
Yeah. Benson. That's all that this person has put down for their name. So thanks to Benson and Hedges, which I'm always ripping into them as I'm just driving down the highway. Do you know?
What?
Just smoking a bunch of Benson and Hedges.
What's Benson and Hedges?
They're just cigarette brands.
What about?
They're not good enough for you, no? The idea that
the
way smoking cigarettes are synonymous with cars and just the open road.
Okay. I feel
it's fucking blasting.
So you say that you'd throw them on the road, would you?
Yeah, we're throwing the cigarettes on the road. Somebody cleans them up. They're involved in transport. It's the Minister of Transport.
Yes,
it's Eamon Ryan.
probably.
He's out there picking up the cigarettes and eating them. Yes, he is.
He's like, I'm addicted to cigarettes, but it's just from eating the butts like a pigeon.
Yeah, because it's helping the environment, which I really care. Like that's actually what he thinks is a valuable contribution to helping the environment, is eating cigarette butts.
It's recycling. It's cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper than buying them myself. It's like, why you don't need to eat them?
Yeah, you don't need them.
Why are you eating them?
Yeah.
Francis Breen. What about
Francis Breen? You know, like
this is great. Well, let's just think of other way. Benson. What about I know we're going back to Benson, but just to think of a car noise with Benson would be funny.
Okay, you do it.
Let's move on. We don't have enough time.
No, you said it'd be funny.
Oh yeah, it's the sound of the car door closing. It's like Benson.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Interesting. That is pretty niche to. I mean, there's not really much you can think about with a car, and there are more elements of transport. But you know, actually, here's one. It's the sound of a bus door opening. Benson.
Yeah, or like stand clear. Benson doors operate.
Nice.
You know,
you've gotten a million of them, and you know,
and we don't even know your name.
Up next is Simon Akers, and that'll be
like 40 acres and a mule, but you have to ride the mule.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll make a mule noise.
Yeah, we.
That's the way they.
You'll know the noise a mule makes.
Mark will appreciate this. Mark Stokes, of course. Mark Spokes, like the spokes on a bike, and he's big into bikes. Okay?
Is he?
Ding ding. That's the noise of a bell on a bike. That's for you, buddy.
Yeah. Yes.
He's actually huge into bikes. That is not a lie.
Yeah, like BMXing.
No, just like bikes. He loves bikes.
Interesting. But
I once had to collect a scanner off some guy at a park, and he showed up on a bike, and Mark happened to be there, and so we just spent about a fucking 40 minutes talking about this guy's bike.
that's funny. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I try to talk to taxi drivers about their car, and they never go for it. I was like, oh,
Listen to this baby purr. Interesting.
yeah.
What we got on this?
this car's so sexy. No, it's like, I go, what? Is this car easy on petrol? And the taxi driver was like, I don't know, I just put it in when it needs it. And I was like, come on. Like, do you
Yeah.
just want to talk about, like, black people moving into your area?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, this is something you live in every day, and you drive in this every day. You have nothing to say about it. You're for real. You're for real right now.
yeah, you don't
You're
know
not
if
thinking
it's
about
easy
it.
on petrol. Despite
Do
the
you
fact
not
you
ever
put
get
petrol
so-
in every day.
Do you not feel so bored when you're just going like, interesting? When I go this route and I drive at this speed, it actually seems to burn more
Yeah,
petrol than
yeah.
you. Do you not even think on those terms, or are you just like, just
Maybe they thought I was going to steal it or something. I was like,
actually, it's really bad. Don't steal my car. It's
Yeah.
got really bad mileage. Damn, it's gonna steal this car. Actually, can I just say real quick? I was in Lidl the last day, and I was like packing up my shopping, and this guy goes, the guy behind the counter goes, "Are you a gamer by any chance? You seem like a gamer to me." I'm wearing a mask, by the way, so I have
Yeah.
no idea how he came to this conclusion, except I was literally only buying chocolate cereals. Okay.
right.
And then he goes,
Cereals
and he goes,
plural.
yeah, no. Well, I got bran flakes, and then I was like, I'm mixing this shit up with some fucking Cocoa Pops or some bullshit, you know?
Okay.
Anyway, he goes, and I was buying Kinder Bueno for my housemate, so it must have looked like an absolute fucking train wreck.
I just mash them into a paste and eat them. Eat them in bed.
So anyway, he goes, and do you like aliens?
What
And
the
I was like, sure. And then he's like, because there's an alien game coming out this summer, and it
What
looks
the
great.
fuck is this guy talking about? There's an alien game.
Yeah, you know the game Aliens, like the movie Aliens. They're making a game of it, and it's out this summer. And I'm
Oh,
just
right.
like-
I thought he meant like,
he was like,
do you like aliens? As in just like,
no. But he just goes, and I was like, yeah, I mean, looks interesting. I hadn't played the other one, and I didn't really know what to say because I have no interest in playing the Aliens
Yeah.
game, but I pretended that I did for, this. And then we were just standing there awkwardly, and then I was like, anyway, thanks a million. And then I
Yeah.
walked off, and I feel like a real asshole because I was like,
he's,
you know.
he's just like, see you online, you know.
But anyhow,
That
yeah,
guy-
imagine telling them I spent €100 on a PlayStation 4 so I could play Crash Bandicoot. He's like, I see. You know?
Yeah. Do you like games? Do you like bandicoots?
Oh, I think I like games.
Yeah.
I've got both of the Garfield lasagna racing games.
Yeah.
Actually, Mark Maloney. That'll be like spark plug Maloney, like the spark plug in your car.
Is there? What does that do?
Just starts the engine.
Does it?
Yeah, gives a little ignition.
Could have fooled
And
me.
for that, instead of a car noise, I'm just going to sing some bit of Ignition by R. Kelly. And I don't know the lyrics, so I'm going to have to look that
Right.
up.
Okay. Singing a song by sexual predator or Kelly. Great. Let's hear this now, Gareth.
So, baby, give me that toot toot. Give me you that beep beep. Running her hands through my fro,
Okay, I
bouncing
think
on
we've
my
heard enough of
24s.
this. This child predator or Kelly.
So, we can only imagine what he was talking about in that. Probably cars.
Just
'Cause it
it's
seems
probably
it's
just
up
as
to
it
cars.
seems. A car
Yeah.
that's running its
That he finds
hands
really
through his
sexy,
afro. Is that
Blind Burqa. Come on,
machine?
James. I know you got one in this.
Machine
Uh-huh.
of worker, like it's working.
Yeah, what about
truck.
motoring the broom car? Broom car. Motoring the broom car.
That is
on-
so good, and it makes so much sense that I'm delighted.
Alan Carroll. That'll of course be. I swear to God, now that we're saying Alan Carroll, I'm like, did we talk about cars before? Because I definitely would have said Alan Carr. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
Damn it. I swear to God, if we've done transport. We're going to start taking votes for this, whoever wants to get in on this. Rob Gale. That'll be rob the car.
Mail.
And mail it back to its owner piece by piece.
Yeah.
As you know,
Stephen. As they do.
Huh?
Yeah.
Stephen Bradley. Stephen Baudley. Like a boat. Irish for boat.
Is it?
Yeah, Baud. Baud. Yeah, Baud.
I don't know. No one speak that filthy tongue, you know?
Yeah, it's fucking... That was a good line from Ends Meet I always liked. Where he's like, what do you have in the afternoon? He goes, only Irish. Well, he's like, that's zombie language. Well, you're not going to be a guard or a show-off, so you can skip that.
Okay.
Show that I worked on, Ends Meet. Some kind person...
Quoting your own show.
I didn't write it, so I can quote it. But it was good, you know, and it was my own show. Next up is Alison Spittle. That'll be...
is that when you spit into the engine because you run out of petrol?
Stop using spit. We can't.
Why?
You know. What about Alison Throttle? And that makes me think we definitely have done this before, because I remember doing that.
And what about Alison... bottle. I have a load of bottles in my car.
Alison, I was going to say bottleneck.
What?
Alison Bottleneck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, put lots of bottles in my car to go to the bottle bank, but this bottleneck is just fucking causing loads of hassle for me.
Yeah. Makes me spit. Next name.
Richard Zimmerman. That'll of course be Richard Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got a Z in it.
Yeah,
you can't deny that. It's also got an M in the middle.
Come on, Richard. You can't deny that. You can't deny a Zamboni.
Driving down a road in your Zamboni, just firing off a shotgun into the air.
Yeah.
The police are on foot after you because you're not going that fast, but still, it's a tense situation. You know,
it's very tense. You get all the way from Bray to Ballymun like you won, but at 5 miles an hour.
Probably in about 2 days, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Bridget Purcell, and that'll be
when you wash your car with the Purcell to get it clean.
You did this last week as well, yeah. Bridget, listen to that baby Purcell.
Okay.
Yep. Milky Fox. That'll of course be the Foxhall Astra. That's actually pretty good. That came out of nowhere.
Well, what about the fox you run over at night?
Yeah, and it's looking up at you with its milky eyes.
Yeah.
Because you run over it at night.
And you have to like reverse over its head.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then you have to live the rest of your life. And somebody will come up to you. And did you hear a fox was run over last night? And you're like, oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
What monster would do such a thing? Yeah, I hope they kill him. I hope they run him over.
I don't believe in capital punishment, but I honestly believe that, you know, if they find him, they should fucking electric chair. That's what they should do. And you take that to your grave. So Kyle O'Neill, and now I'm convinced that we have talked about this because we talked about the idea of kneeling on the pedals of a car.
Yeah.
You remember that? That was the funniest one.
What about Kyle O'Peel?
Yeah, Kyle O'Peel.
There's peels in the bottom of my car. All the oranges.
Because I mean, all these oranges, I'm trying to keep up my vitamin C.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what you need for a drive. I hope you've eaten your oranges before you start driving.
That's it. Yeah, you're getting pulled over. They're checking your breath for lack of, you know.
Yeah, vitamin C, and also like you have your gloves on, you know, and they're not to drive. They're not driving gloves. They're to eat your oranges without your hands smelling. Okay, Connor Barry. That'll be Connor Carr-y. Connor.
What about boner Carry? Because you know those guys who get boners for cars.
You're driving around with your boner. The cops pull you over and they're like, I hope you got a boner now. I have to check, you know, because.
Well, you've seen that video of the guy who's like in love with a car and they make him kiss the car on TV.
Oh, I love it. There was one that I saw which was like, it was like a guy and he's dating a car and it's like, you know, some sort of like a Ford Focus or something. And then they're like, what do you think about like an older model like this? And they show him like a car from like the 1800s. And he just starts like, oh, she's a beaut. She is. something else, and they were kind of like, is that like an older lady? Do you not feel like you're? And he's like, nah. But you can see him like stroking the bonnet of the car, and his eyes started glazing over, and he's just getting like, he's like, I need to walk away from this car in case my Ford Focus ever finds out that I've been so affectionate towards this fucking, you know.
That's how you know it's not real. Like, imagine, I think probably made this point before. You're like, it's the 60s, and you're like interviewing some guy who's gay, and then you're like, so that's your boyfriend, but what do you make of this man? And you show them like you introduce him to like some Hollywood star, and then the guy's like, whoa, I'm horny for that. You're like on TV. the guy's like, I better walk away in case my boyfriend catches me ogling it. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't.
Yeah, somebody hired to be like, this is what they're like. They just fall for anything under the sun, you know? I'm
just saying, the guy obviously doesn't actually love the car, because...
Oh, right.
You wouldn't act like that if you actually thought it was a person. You know what I mean? Like, there's a scene where he's like lying under it, kissing the bonnet. And it's like, again, someone is like, do you love your wife? Or then lie under her and kiss her on TV. You're like, no, I'm not doing that. But he's like, great. He's also like, what are the chances that he's also an exhibitionist?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely it.
What's the next one?
Liam McCartan. That one kind of writes itself, but we'll continue on.
Steam cart.
You know your steam cart. You're going around putting
steam into a
fucking steam. You know when you put steam into the engine and it just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
Gotta fill up on steam.
Keeps getting faster and faster. It never stops.
Yeah. Clairo Newlawn.
Clairo new one, like a new car.
Yeah, I got a new car. It's 2021. Have they got 20? Are they still doing that like 21-1 thing?
Yeah, I think it's 211. It's a 211. It's a two. Isn't that a song by
It sounds like song.
The mad one who like stuffed a cat. Who like sacrificed a chicken. What's her name?
Oh shit.
Jewish,
I don't know.
Hates Jewish people.
Interesting. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Fucking hell. Yeah, she did that one.
Banks. Azalea Banks.
Yeah.
Next one.
Niall McGillicuddy. We're getting close to the end. All right, Niall McGillicuddy. All right, let's get them going. All right, let's Niall McGillicuddy. That'll be Niall Mac Truck are cool.
Yeah, nice one.
All right, Ronan Carey. That'll be Ronan Scary.
No.
A scary car that you drive around.
I'm sort of tired of that one. I think we should leave the road.
Retire it.
Yeah,
fine.
Ronan
Carey.
Yeah, Ronan Carey. That's a good one.
And it's like, somebody stop me.
Yeah,
I'm driving my car.
Somebody stop car.
Do not go in there, says Ronan Carey.
After he leaves the toilet.
What? Say what?
After Ronan Carey leaves the toilet, he's like, don't go in there.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a lot of Jim Carrey's famous lines.
Don't go in there.
And the joke is when we call Ronan Carey, that I actually now refer to it as Jim Carrey. You know.
Oh, I see. He's like,
it's a bit of a deep one, but for the
deep
people
is not
who get
the
it,
word.
they got it.
Yeah.
Niamh Kelly. This will be fucking.
What about Martin Shkreli? He drove a car.
Yeah, Martin Shkreli famously drove a car, and hopefully he crashes it into.
He drove it to prison, probably.
Tell you what, Martin Shkreli, because he's in prison making license plates now. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, Paulie Doyle. That'll be hauling ass.
Soil.
When you're on the soil in your car and you're just hauling it. Hauling it.
He's like a manure salesman. He's hauling.
Okay, yeah. So the thing that I painted was like the open road. We're hauling ass. We're fugitive, and then you just turned it into you just have a big truck of manure that you're just driving around the place.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. And now finally, Joe Joyce, and then the last time we said Rolls Royce, which is pretty good.
I can't say that again.
Can't say that now.
What about no
choice? What about that? What about no choice?
No. What about, what about, like, my choice, right? But it's Jeremy Clarkson's choice, for best car.
Yeah, his choice of cars.
Yeah.
What about snowplow choice? And it's Jeremy Corbyn choosing his favorite car of the week.
Why snowplow?
Just because snow rhymes with
Joe. I think he deserves a bit more than snowplow choice because it's
by
Jeremy Corbyn. What about?
No, I think that's fun. I think it's funny because I'm imagining Michael Gambon on Top Gear just destroying an airfield by driving a snowplow around it really recklessly. The gravel is just flying and it's like, where are you on the leaderboard? And then he just up the top.
Yeah.
So that's why this snowplow is Jeremy Corbyn's choice of the...
Why Michael Gambon?
Because he was actually the top one on the...
Who is Michael Gambon?
He played Dumbledore after Richard Harris.
Why is Jeremy Corbyn here?
Because you said Jeremy Clarkson and I thought it was funny if it was Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, mine is a bike that I wear a tracksuit on.
Yeah. And that somebody comes over and spits on me because I let them cross the road.
No, not on his own show. He's probably not getting spit out. Give him that. Let him have a show where he doesn't get spit on.
Yeah, you idiot.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm ragging on me as well.
Ah. Well, as long as we're about ragging on you.
Yeah. Well, that's that. And just as a last note, and we've gone on very long, longer than James intended, as is always the case. I just wanted to give a shout out to Ice Pop, who had a single released the other week called Sex with the Socialists.
Nice.
So maybe that could play us out. Why not?
Why not? Do you want to tell people where they can buy it? Have you listened to it?
No. No, I've listened to it, but I haven't. If you go to openbin.ie, apparently they have... that's the music video. That's the people who made the music video. Forget it. I don't know. I felt bad because I was like, maybe he stopped listening because we. Where can you get it? You can go to his Instagram, I guess, instagram.com, icepoprock. And also, Icepop is the name of the band, so I'm presuming that actually there's two members in this band. So this entire time we've been referring to him.
I'm pretty sure he signed off his emails as Icepop, like.
Oh yeah, well then maybe he has. Okay, never mind. Listen to the song. Yeah, look it up on youtube.com or go to skies, Twitter. Yeah.
For Ice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go now.
All right, goodbye.
I want to have sex with a socialist. A socialist. I want to have sex with a socialist. Sex with a socialist. A socialist. I want to have sex with a socialist. Socialist. Now you're looking pretty good now. Not that it matters, 'cause you're down with the proletariat, and that's all that matters. You leaning close to me and say, workers of the world, you know with me. I wanna have sex with a socialist. A socialist. I wanna have sex with a socialist. Sex with a socialist. A socialist. I wanna have sex with a socialist. I'm sick of neoliberal people always judging me. They say I'm no use, but what I provide financially here. They leaning close to me and say, you just want all this shit for free. I wanna have sex with a socialist. A socialist. I wanna have sex with a socialist. Sex with a socialist. A socialist. I wanna have sex with a socialist.